All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to my channel, Fresh Potato. And in today's video, yeah, we had to talk about this. And here's the thing: this is why I never trust anything that Rotten Tomatoes says, because there have been times where I've watched movies and I'm like, man, this is the like one of the best movies that I've ever watched. Rotten Tomato gives it a bad rating. Then there's movies out there that I've watched where I'm like, what was the plot? What was the idea? Like, what was the goal, I guess, with this this movie? And then Rotten Tomato gives it like a certified rating and stuff. And that's why I'm like, I don't trust Rotten Tomato when it comes to rate movies. Like, one of my all-time favorite movies, and I know a lot of people have negative things to say about it. I guess you have to be a car guy to understand the movie a little bit better. But Need for Speed. I honestly, one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to say like it's better than movies that have won Oscars and all of that. In my own opinion, I would rather watch that movie than any other movie. But Rotten Tomato did give that movie a bad ratings. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what could have possibly been wrong with that movie. I ended up, like, after watching Need for Speed, I remember I had found like I this newfound love for Koenigseggs. And so, yeah, anytime when I'm playing a racing game, I make sure of it that I get me either a red Koenigsegg. I just recently, because Forza Horizon 6 just came out, and so I did get the Koenigsegg Agera R that they had in the Need for Speed movies. And then there's like fun facts about the movie. Like, there's still things I'm learning about this movie that, like, now. And that movie came out, 12 years ago and stuff. So I didn't even know that about Need for Speed, was that they was using prop cars. None of the cars in the movie were, I think, real cars. I think, yeah, they just went through a company to make the cars. But yeah, I was tripping off of that because I was like, the whole time I thought they were the actual cars and stuff. But then you sit down and think about it, it's like, yeah, I think if I was a Koenigsegg owner and a company called me up saying, yeah, can we use your car to crash in a movie, I probably would decline, respectfully and stuff. But anyways, no, yeah, I did want to talk on this because I think, yeah, we could all, say that the Michael Jackson movie is going to probably be the biggest movie to come out this year. And then for some odd reason, Netflix decided that it would be the perfect time to come out with this Michael Jackson, The Verdict documentary. And it's funny because I remember when they announced it, and I'm thinking to myself, I feel like that they could have came out with this last year, the year before, at any given point in time, because it ain't like this, situation, this Michael Jackson court case. It happened recently. This happened, I think, yeah, 21 years ago. I think it was in 2005 when all that stuff had happened. So it's like, if you, I mean, yeah, obviously you guys wasn't really a big deal back in no 2005. I mean, you might have had like the commercials where it was like, oh yeah, 7.99 to rent any movie you want to rent and stuff. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, people wasn't going to Netflix to watch no documentary and things. So, but you guys had all this time to come out with this documentary. Like, I guess that would be my question to Netflix. Why would you guys come out with this documentary right now? Because I just feel like it's a smear campaign. I don't know if there was somebody that doesn't like Michael Jackson and they paid Netflix to come out with this documentary. That's what I personally believe, because I'm like, that's just weird timing where it's like one of the best movies to come out this year, and then it's like this documentary coming out soon after. And it's funny because it's like, okay, anybody can easily look it up and see, what happened and stuff, rather than watching this Netflix documentary. I mean, like, it ain't like, I guess like it's hard to access that information and things. He was found not guilty on all charges. So again, what was the reason of coming out with the documentary? And yeah, I was like, I just think that, it's either somebody at Netflix don't like Michael Jackson, or there's somebody that don't like Michael Jackson outside of Netflix and they paid Netflix. I guess, yeah, like, questioning the producers and the people that are behind this documentary. But other than that, I'm like, fam, to me, I just don't understand. Like, it's not like this is any new information and stuff that's coming out. I guess, yeah, it might be some story that we haven't heard of, but it's like, that's one thing that I've been hearing a lot with Michael Jackson, is that there were a lot of people that were getting paid off to say bad things about Michael Jackson. So can we trust any and everybody that's being showcased in this documentary? Because hearing stuff like that, then watching this documentary, and then to know that he was found not guilty, it's like, what do you want people to believe? So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I just don't personally understand the use for the documentary. But it makes me think about, it was a couple of years back where and I just think that that's what, people, like, I guess that have an issue with you what they're sought out to do. But I remember a couple of years back when I was blowing up a lot on YouTube. Like I was doing voiceover videos on my main channel, TMossBoss, and there were some, old rivalries that, yeah, there wasn't no need for me to talk about them or anything else. I'm like, I'm doing good for myself. I'm gaining thousands of subscribers every day, millions of views every day. What do I look like focused on somebody that's beneath me and stuff? So, but no, anyways, he decides that he wanted to come out with a video where it was titled "Where is T Moss Boss Right Now?" And then all he did was talk on our drama, and then and then talked about my videos blowing up. And then I remember it was at some point in time prior before he did that video, he had his fans come to my channel and accuse me of hacking him. And so yeah, it's just there are people out there where I'm like, I see things like that, and then I see this, and I'm like, you wait until the perfect time to talk about somebody, and then it's like, well, what does that do for you? Because I'm like, anybody could have just looked my name up and seen what I was doing. Why did you feel that you need to do a whole YouTube video over it? So yeah, I just think that it's either somebody at Netflix or somebody that was behind this documentary, where and then they just went through Netflix as a publisher, and they just don't like Michael Jackson. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to like Michael Jackson, but coming out with a documentary talking about a court case where he was found not guilty on all charges and trying to make him out as a criminal anyways, I find that kind of just weird and odd and stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but I'm not going to accuse a man of something where I don't know what happened. But it's like to go and put millions into a documentary, or however much money you put into a documentary to make it seem like that he did those things. Yeah, I just feel like that. Yeah, it's like, and then on to know that too, that he was found not guilty on all charges. That's why I'm like, yeah, just some don't seem right with that. But yeah, it's like I did see that post where it was Rotten Tomato, they gave the Michael movie a bad rating, but the audience gave it a good rating. And I say that with every movie. Like, no, it's funny because there's at times where my mom, she would be scrolling through like TV and just like certain movies on cable, and then she'll point that out, like a movie will have good ratings but the audience gave it bad ratings, and I'm like, don't watch that movie. I'm like, Rotten Tomato, they don't know what they're talking about. And then it's funny, she'll watch the movie anyways, and then the movie ends up being bad, and I'm like, I told you. I'm like, yeah, there's just certain movies on there where they're not good, but then it'll be a movie that they give a bad ratings, and then the audience gives it a good ratings, and I'm like, that's the movie that you need to be watching. So yeah, it's like Rotten Tomato at times. I just feel like that they do that. Either they're being paid off, but I never trusted Rotten Tomato. After Need for Speed, I never trusted Rotten Tomato when it came to rating movies and stuff. I mean, I don't even think the audience gave it a good rating, but at the same time, I'm like, I still like the movie. It's one of those movies where let me just check the ratings real quick. But it's one of those movies. Yeah, Rotten Tomato gave it a 23%, and I'm like, fam, I'm sorry, but and then the audience, it's still, not as good, but the audience gave it a 56, which is a little bit higher than a, 23. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm maybe it might be some people where it's like they're Need for Speed fans where they were expecting it to be more like the video games. And I can understand that. I can understand, people saying that. But if it's anything else like, oh, I didn't like that it was primarily recorded during the day. I wish it was recorded at night. And I'm like, it's things like that where I'm like, okay, were you watching the movie for the weather or were you watching it for the cars? Like it's if you're talking on things that ain't got nothing to do with the movie, or that's like the smallest little detail about the whole film or TV show, ain't nobody gonna be paying attention to that. So yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm just curious though, what did they have to say about the Michael Jackson movie? Because I imagine that all it is just talking on his life and stuff. So yeah, let's just see real quick what Rotten Tomato or what somebody at Rotten Tomato what they have to say about the Michael Jackson movie. So critic review, so there's like, you feel his presence during music, because this guy gave it a 2.4 or 2.5 out of 4. But then so yeah, let's just go to the full review and stuff. I've never really sat down and read no full review. Oh, this man got like a whole documentary, or not a documentary, but like a link, a website. I'm not reading all that. It's either sorry to hear that, congratulations, but but I guess like a smaller version. He goes on to say, "You feel his presence, joy, in music. Does the footage push biofilm genre boundaries? No." what does that even mean? I'm like, it's a biopic about Michael Jackson. Like, what did you expect? And I think like when people when they watch movies that are like based on the true story, because I have to say I do like a good based on the true story movie, but that's if it's done right. If it's a movie like the Tupac movie, for an example, where there is a lot of like fill-in scenes where it's like, okay, we don't know if that stuff happened, but it's like if people are coming out and saying that that stuff didn't happen, then it's like, okay, then it's biopic movies like that where I'm like, I can understand why it has a bad rating. But you have it where his family was working behind, because I think there was like what his son is a producer, and I think the brothers had something to do with it. Then his nephew is playing as him, and I imagine that all of these guys knew who he was. So it's like whatever is being showcased in the movie, it's like they're not going to lie or fabricate or try to change up things. Like no, that stuff really had happened. So yeah, that's why I'm like I don't know, man. Like with Rotten Tomato, there was another one too. I didn't even read that, but there was like Michael is a work with high production value whose ability to entertain makes it susceptible to being watched several times, even though it's superficially extends to other areas. Sorry if you guys are hearing background noises, but anyways, but yeah, I don't know what that guy meant by that and stuff. Like he just trying to use a bunch of big words and things, and it's like, bruh, people are watching this movie to watch Michael Jackson. They're not watching this, for any other reasons and stuff. There's like, oh, I'm like, what happened to this one? When it's like, bruh, the stuff that y'all are worried about, people ain't worried about it like that, when they're watching the movie and stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, I just want to do this video to let y'all know, like, if you ever see a movie that Rotten Tomato gives a rating to, and then it's like they give it a bad rating, but the audience gives it a good rating, and there are at times where the Rotten Tomato they are right on giving a movie a good rating because the audience agrees too. But yeah, there's other times where I'm like, yeah, if it's like this Michael Jackson the Verdict thing where they gave it a good rating, but the audience gave it a bad rating, that ain't like, oh, the audience is just doing it to be funny. No, there's probably something that they seen in that documentary, or they realize with this documentary what it's doing, and that's why they're like, we're not even going to no, we're not gonna give this good ratings and stuff. So but anyways, with that being said, I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace.